Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, great, beautiful, blessed evening. I'm trying to figure out, am I live on everywhere? Okay, so I should be, if you would let me know, if you see me, I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram, and I am on YouTube. Holler at a player if you see my face and hear my voice. I love. Okay, people. Do we see me? Okay. Well, great evening. Great evening. Oh, man. If you have not seen me before, my name is Tenille Stewart, and I help women who've been diagnosed with lupus or other chronic illnesses go from discouraged and confused to healed, hopeful, and in control of the medical narrative. And today we have a treat. Someone who, our special guest is someone who helped open my eyes to a field, a notion, an idea that I had no idea existed. I was completely blind to the fact that we, as chronically ill people, don't have to be actually dead, counting our days before we die, to get help, like hospice. So if you could give my guest, Shontrice Avery, the warmest welcome. She's going to explain to us how that all goes down.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much
for having me. Thank you so much.
So my question to all of my guests is, who are you and what do you do?
Okay, so I'm Shontrice Avery. I'm from Alabama originally, and I've been living in Georgia for a couple of years since graduating from college. I am a social worker. I currently work at a nursing home as a social worker, and I do hospice part-time. I'll actually be transitioning to a full-time hospice role in a couple of weeks, and I'll be closing out my chapter at the nursing home this Thursday. So bittersweet. Looking forward to the change, of course, but also I served in the Army, enlisted officer, and I'm actually soon to be a vet, so I'm excited about that part.
I didn't even know that. Oh, okay, learning things. Thank you for your service, ma'am. Thank you so much. So what made you want to change from healthcare and with the nursing homes to hospice care?
So with the nursing home is more busier. I'm not able to give my patients or our residents that one-on-one time because I do so much from assessments to advanced care planning to scheduling meetings, and I have a higher caseload. So a lot of times patients may need me to sometimes just sit with them for some time, and I'm not able to give them that one-on-one time as much as I can because I have a high caseload. As opposed to hospice, I will be able to go into people's homes, their personal care homes, even a nursing home, and give them that one-on-one time. So I'm excited and I look forward to that part, especially. Yeah. I hate when I go to some of my patients, I may only have time to just assess them. You know, I may be able to have that one-on-one time with them when they're first admitting, but I don't always be able to dedicate at least 30 minutes to an hour if they're needing that. So
yeah, I love that for you. Like, I love that you really have a heart to serve, because a lot of people, I mean, it might be because you're young and please don't get like them, you know, because sometimes people get into industries like this and they start out wanting to serve and then they are fed up and they are just mean, and you are dealing with such a fragile what's the word I'm looking for?
Yes, very vulnerable population.
Vulnerable population. Exactly. Thank you. And I love that you actually are there to serve the community and really like take time to still pay attention to them, because once people age, it's as if they age out of society. It's like people
absolutely. That's exactly how a lot of them feel. Yeah. I know Some people may think, in a negative way, they have no family support. Sometimes they have no more life to live, no more goals to accomplish, when that's not true. They think they have no more quality of life. They think that they're near death because they're in a nursing home or on hospice services. But of course, that's absolutely not true.
Yes.
I think honestly, that's everyone's initial thought when they hear nursing home or hospice. Everyone has like that negative thought process on it. And I was guilty of it too in college. I will not sit up here and tell you all that I wasn't, because I was.
I genuinely, my friend brought this to me because her father-in-law was on hospice, but he's like 100 or something. So I was like, okay, well, my grandmother's not that old, so and she was like, no, you check it out, call these numbers, check this. And I was like, okay. And then when I got explained to me, I was like, what?
Yes. And it's so much more that people think, oh, is mom gonna? No, you'll have that extra support, whether it's spiritual, emotional support that you get. It's there for you. It's extra care. And a lot of times, even once that loved one, passes away, hospice will still follow the family to provide that grief support. So, you have the nurses that come out, the CNAs that come out, even a chaplain.
Yeah, we get a chaplain.
Absolutely. It's very, a lot of people think that it's, somebody's in, I have a hospice pay. I have one that's 102. Get around almost just as good as you and I do. Like just as cute as a button. As cute as a button.
That's awesome. Yeah. And some people, I realized that when I had been sick before, I showed you pictures, I think, of when I was super sick and I could not get around, and my family was doing their best, but I realized that we could have had way more help if I would have signed up for these things, because I had all of the insurance that would have covered it. I had Medicaid, Medicare, and a third insurance that would have all together made it $0. So people, pay attention to what your insurance is covering, because we have a team of people that come and hang out with grandma, talk to grandma, bathe grandma, and it's just a break for us. We do still want to take care of her and do what we can. However, it is priceless. When Shontrice comes, grandma, here, you got company, and she's excited. You know what I mean? So
so sweet. Yeah.
So
it takes away that burden from the family. So that's another thing too. It's like a partnership because we're working together. So I absolutely love
you, girl. I'm grateful. So do you see this as something that you want to continue with? You think this niche of healthcare is the way for you?
I absolutely, most definitely, simply because I love it. I enjoy it. So I can't see myself working with a different population or doing something outside of it, because I enjoy it. And a lot of it, I get to see the differences that I'm making and the changes that I'm making with my patients and being able to connect with them. A lot of them, they just want to be seen and heard. And a lot of times, some people, they just pass them up. And I'm like, if you really sit and have a conversation with them, you'll also learn something. We're dealing with people who have led and raised families, people who've had businesses, multiple degrees, fought in wars. I've had residents that we have a poker table at one of the facilities I worked at, and teaching me how to play poker. So it's things like that. It fulfills me. It honestly does. And I will be here. I'm here forever.
I love that.
I enjoy it.
I love that. And you're so young to have, I don't know, man. I feel like I was still in knucklehead territory when I was your age. I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. And this is whatever. Unless I was sick. I was probably sick already. But I digress. I'm saying I'm very, proud of you. And I feel like it is a calling. It's not just a job. And that is impressive. And I'm not telling how old she is, but she's young.
I'll tell it. It's fine. I'll be 29 on Monday.
Oh, happy almost your birthday.
Thank you.
Everybody blow her up and say happy birthday to her, because she's about to be 29. Okay. Enjoying your last year of the 20s.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
wait, no, it gets better. It gets
absolutely.
so what is a I'm gonna wrap this up, it's not gonna be too long, but I would love to know, what is your average day like with when you're working in the nursing homes versus when you're working in the hospice?
Okay. So at a nursing home, and not every day is the same. So I can go in a typical day. Let's say, for instance, today I went in on, I checked my notes to see what has happened, if any behaviors have occurred that I need to address with the clinical team. We have our clinical meeting to discuss any residents that may have had any falls or went out to the hospital. And I had to send out a couple of referrals. We have patients that may need to be seen by the podiatrist to get their toenails clipped, or they may need to see the dentist or the psychiatric nurse or the clinical social worker. So I'm coordinating all of those services with them. And I have 10 residents that'll come to my office in one day needing it. It doesn't even something as small as getting them a phone charger or something small, but they always just feel comfortable coming telling me what a nurse has done and wanting me to say something. So in the nursing home, it's super busy. It's super, not every day is like that. I promise you. Today was a more calm day. And then you asked about hospice, right? As opposed to so with hospice, so far with my experience, I will go to a patient's home. I go to their home, I assess them, get to know them, because I like to start off getting to know my patients and know what they like. What were they like when they were younger? What type of work did they do? So I'll assess them, get to know them, and then just kind of figure out, what's going on with them. What are their goals? What are their short-term goals? How is the family doing? Just seeing whatever resources they may need. I have some families that may need to set up like burial services. They may need outside resources, Meals on Wheels. And I have some hospice patients, they're staying by themselves because guess what? They can get around really well.
Oh.
Really support systems that they have. So some of them may need Meals on Wheels services. They may need a volunteer to even come out, and I can coordinate that service as well for them. So it's pretty good.
We want to do that. Remind us. We want to do the volunteer. I forgot about that. Yes. Okay. Do you have anybody who's not older who's on hospice, or is it just older people?
I actually have a patient that's in the nursing home, and he's not an older guy actually. And that's another thing I wanted to harp on. So you don't have to be older to receive those services or to qualify for those services either. I think I have a patient as young as maybe 50. Yes.
In a nursing home?
Absolutely. I've had actually 45. I've had a patient, honestly, that was a few weeks ago. He was my age.
Wait, in hospice or in the nursing home?
In the nursing home. It was my first time seeing it in the nursing home.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So I was in, when I was 20 something, 25, 24, something like that. I was in a rehab. Mm-hmm. And I guess there were a lot of people there who had recently had like hip surgeries, or like older people, right? And like they constantly, like all day, anytime I ran into anybody, they're like, "What are you doing here? You're so young." I can only imagine that somebody in their 40s in a nursing home. So that's your patient. Now, I don't want to hurt any HIPAA laws or whatever. Are they happy to be there? Do they want to be there?
They wasn't there for a week. They were ready to go. Yeah. So their mom came and got them. Like, he was ready to go. So.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. How I get it though. Like, if you need 24-hour care that your family can't give you.
Absolutely.
That's what you have to do. And it's probably better than a hospital. I'm guessing you probably have more like free. You have a poker table, so like
I think it's better than because hospitals are even busier, and it's more people, more residents, more staff members, and as opposed to a nursing home, where ours in particular is smaller. So we're close knit there. They have activities. It's very structured.
Yeah,
very structured. So they have activities. I even have smokers. So they have a very absolutely. It's very like home like and inviting. Absolutely. So they have it. They have it.
Well, I mean, I love that, except for the smoking part, because I'm 95. I might as well keep smoking. No, you should probably stop. You should probably stop.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't get it. Well, is there anything that you want? I'm gonna, bring it in for a close. I'm not gonna keep you too long. I just want to know: is there anything that you think people really need to know about hospice services, or like an aging loved one, maybe, or just hospice in general? Because apparently, people in their 20s can be at nursing homes. So, yes, give us something to, that you need people to know. You want to pierce their brain with this to remember this podcast by.
Okay. So, of course, family members, loved ones, if your loved one is needing that extra help, don't be ashamed, don't feel bad or guilty for placing them on these services, because ultimately you're helping them, because sometimes as family, we feel like, well, I'm helping because I'm keeping them in the home. But if you have someone that may have trouble with Alzheimer's or memory issues, you have to go to work, you leave them at home all day, they may wander off somewhere, as opposed to if they were in a facility, where they're watched and they have that around the clock care. It is not neglectful. And a lot of times that's what it becomes, which is ultimately abuse. So a lot of times, don't be afraid to get that help. And if it's being recommended for hospice or a nursing home, it doesn't always have to be long-term. It can be short-term. You can do trials of it and see how it works out for you. And don't look at it as, oh, I'm just throwing them away. If you have a family, it's hard raising a family, especially if you're married, and then also having to take care of an older parent is hard. And you may want to, but sometimes the better choice may be able to look into those services, because your insurance paid for it, and you're not in it alone. You're not in it alone. We become families.
Yeah.
We become families. So don't be ashamed, don't feel guilty. Because a lot of times do what's best for them. If they need to be on those services, just understand that it's a team of medical providers that will give them that support that they're needing. And
cool. Yes. Very well said. And exactly what I think that a lot of people are feeling and thinking, I failed my parent, or I should be able to take care of them. But if your mental health is declining because you are taking care of somebody,
absolutely,
or you aren't able to work because you were taking care of somebody, and then now you're under the poverty line or whatever it is, you don't have to do this alone. There are wonderful people to help you, like Shontrice, there goes my phone, that can really alleviate some of the burden. And not saying that your family is a burden, but taking on too much when you really don't have it in you to take on. Life is hard right now.
It is.
It's expensive right now. It's covered by your insurance. Please, we are begging you. Please look into it if you need it. Do not feel like you are defeated or you're not doing enough. You're doing as much as you can. You are a human being. And if it's you, the sick person, and you are a high-functioning sick person, however you are taking care of yourself, please look into it, because you might be able to get some help. And that little bit of help, even if it's the Meal on Wheels, or if it's someone to talk to, because being sick is lonely. And you can have nice people like Shontrice, with her smile and her sweetness, coming to your house every couple of weeks just to check on you, just to make sure you're okay. So please check into hospice if you need it. You might need it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's my first time doing a podcast. So I'm super. Thank you so much.
We got a first timer.
Hey. I was super nervous, but thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad. My mom says she misses you. We miss you. Get away.
I miss you all.
Okay, so I'm just reading some comments before we get off here. Okay. Stay Inspired with Shaw said, "Happy birthday, Queen."
Oh, thank you all. Thank you.
Lika J said, "This is so true." We got happy birthday from Jermaine Jackson and Brent Harris. Powerful message. Thank you.
Oh.
Priceless. priceless. Love this insight. Helps me feel seen and heard. Value. Thank you for your services. All of this. People are, responding so well. And like, thank you so much for coming on here and talking about this, because I never, before my friend brought this up, I had never, ever thought of this. I never even heard that this was possible. And you guys make such a difference. Like, we were suffering in silence. And it's hard to say that about taking care of somebody that we love. But dementia is a very slow goodbye. Like, whoever this lady is right here, she's great and everything, but I miss my regular grandma. And it's hard because you don't know. You wake up every morning, you don't know how they're going to be and how it's so having
differently,
and having people from the outside coming in to help alleviate some of the stress and just like break up the day for all of us. Like, even if we're all home and you come, it really helps our day go better, because she feels like she had a visitor just for her, and it's special. So just your service is so loved, needed, and we're grateful for you. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much, Tenille. Thank you.
Okay, so everybody, thank you for being on. Thank you for your sweet comments. And if you want to follow Shontrice, where can they follow you?
On Instagram is Shontrice __. So Shontrice 2 underscores. Okay. Facebook is my middle name. It's RENEA Avery.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna write it all in the descriptions. I'll put it and actually I'll just put it in the comments of everything so that people can follow if you need, and if you need advice for taking care of your loved ones, she's your go-to girl. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. And we will definitely have you back after you have some time under your belts. With,
yes.
We want to see if you really do love the population. All right. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to a different time than I usually have. I appreciate the turnout. Y'all did it. Have a great, beautiful, blessed night. Bye, guys.